stay with us. We have another related development where the European Commission has presented its 19th sanctions package against Russia for member state approval, aiming to increase pressure over the Ukraine war. EU chief Ursula von der Leyen said that the new measures will target crypto banks and speed up the phase out of Russian fossil fuel imports originally planned for 2027. Meanwhile, the EU will go after Russian revenues by signaling 118 new vessels as shadow fleet and enablers, banning a resurgence of the listed vessels. It also proposed sanctions on the individuals involved in the indoctrination of Ukrainian children. Let's listen in to what Ursula von der Leyen had to say.
In the last 2 weeks, Russian Shahid drones have violated our union's airspace, both in Poland and in Romania. These are not the actions of someone who wants peace. Again and again, President Putin has escalated, and in response, Europe is increasing its pressure. This is why today I'm presenting the 19th package of sanctions. First, on energy. Russia's war economy is sustained by the revenues from fossil fuels. We want to cut these revenues. So we are banning imports of Russian LNG into European markets. It is time to turn off the tap. We are prepared for this. We have been saving energy, we have been diversifying supplies, we've been investing in low-carbon sources of energy like never before. And today these efforts pay off. And faced with Russia's escalation, Europe stepped up to the challenge. We will continue to use all the tools at our disposal to bring this brutal war to an end. I now call on member states to quickly endorse these new sanctions. We want Russia to leave the battlefield and come to the negotiation table. And this is the way to give peace a real chance.
We are once again joined by Andrew Latham. Andrew, of course, this is the 19th package of sanctions from the EU. Why does this make a difference to Russia compared to the previous 18?
Well, the short answer is it won't. The previous 18 didn't have much impact. There's no reason to believe the 19th will. She used the word endorse. The member states must endorse. And in fact, they must unanimously approve. Ursula von der Leyen doesn't get to make policy like that. That has to be approved by all the member states, and that's an open question. Some of them are more dependent on Russian fossil fuels than others. And so it's by no means a given that the sanctions package will be put in place. And even if it does, there are workarounds that the Russians have figured out, including selling via the back door to various European Union member states. And then, of course, what wasn't mentioned by Ursula von der Leyen is that this 19th package explicitly references China and India and putting pressure on them to cease purchasing Russian oil. Now that puts, in the Indian context, that puts them in, there's some tension there between the EU-India free trade agreement dynamic and then this sanctions piece, which if India's reaction to America's efforts to cut off the purchase of Russian oil are any indication, it's not going to go down terribly well. So in recent months, Ursula von der Leyen has said a number of things. I think she's in some ways trying to position herself as the leader on some of these issues. But the facts of the matter on the ground and under the ground, as it were, are that these sanctions aren't working. They're probably not going to be intensified. And it's more about posturing and preening morally than it is about having any impact on or beyond the battlefield.
Yes, Andrew Latham, thank you very much for your insight on those issues. Always a pleasure to talk to you here on the programme. We now move on and we move over to West